The Axial AX24 continues to be a hot topic. Now that they're available on hobby shop shelves and people are getting their hands on them, we're starting to see a lot of positive feedback. I mean, it is a capable rig. It's got four-wheel steel right out of the box, lots of suspension travel, and it's a reasonable price to get into this little rig. I've had mine out a few more times since the review and it's just been a blast, but now it's time to add some option parts to it. And remember, Axial also announced a bunch of option parts for it when they released this. Well, I got my hands on them, and we're gonna check them out. And here's all those option parts, mostly brass parts. We've got a carbon fiber frame set, but the brass is going to help plant this rig, give it some stability, the ability to crawl better, give it some more traction, and they're just, I think, really worthy upgrades for any build. Now, let's start off simple with the hex hubs. They're brass. They're 1 gram, and they do give you the screw pins along with it. I got 2 sets, one for the front, one for the rear, and these will bolt on really easy. Next up, I have some steering knuckles. These look like really nicely machined pieces. Let's see, they're 12.5 grams, and they include the hardware as well. This appears to be a simple swap. The only change up really is you now have ball ends that go into the steering knuckles for the steering, and along with that, I also have the knuckle weights. These look like they go on the outside, nicely machined, and all the hardware looks like a little bit longer screw. I'm gonna throw those up front, weigh that front end down a little bit, which tends to want to rise up, and I'm also going to throw the brass servo mounts up front as well. It looks like they don't need any optional hardware for this. It should just bolt right in, has the tabs for the links, and the stock servo will bolt into it. Or I think you might be able to get some aftermarket. Well, no, you got to watch out for this rear plate. I believe you might have to space your servo out for optional servos. Then, to keep some weight down low, I'm going to throw this chassis skid in place. That's 19.5 grams. Forgot to tell you about the weight on this. 9 grams for the servo mount. And finally, the carbon fiber chassis plates. And these look really cool. These will, I think, maybe reduce a little bit of weight up top. I mean, barely. The aluminum plates on the rig already are pretty lightweight, but I'm gonna go throw these on and we're gonna go run the rig. There it is, all the option parts installed. It looks really good. It's definitely added some weight to the rig. Shout out to CCXRC for the mighty handy tool that really helped out with getting this thing put together. I don't really have any tips for you other than maybe watch yourself when tightening down on any screws going into brass. The upper outer knuckle weights, the screws were a little snug going in, so just be aware of that. Watch yourself you don't strip out the screws going into the hexes. And finally, when you do go and take the suspension links apart, sometimes these slider drive shafts pop out. Just make sure that you line up the screws for the yokes on each side so your drive shafts are in phase. And other than that, it looks good. We just need to go try it. So I'm up at RC Madison Enfield. I've been testing a bunch of stuff today, and this is like the perfect spot to try this out. A 10 scale course. Let's see if it can handle it. That weight is dialed. Oh, this is a tough spot here. I'm gonna have to punch it. Yeah. This is a rough spot here where I could use some of that crab walk and mirror steer. Get a little crab in there. There we go. Get that wheel up and over, straighten it out. Down one button. Oh, it's twisted up. Let me see if I could crab walk it back out the other way now. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Straighten it out. Now give it some mirror steer. Come on. Oh, I hung a rear axle. Oh, got over it. Nice. With the extra weight on here, I could definitely see the need for a bit better motor and steering, but that's not what this video is about. It's just showing off the capability of these new parts, and it is totally rocking this course. Let's wrap things up on the incline here. And look at that, no problem. I think without the weight, this thing would just be pulling up the axle and falling backwards. Like a champ.